Going to be a very spicy game that we've got coming up for you here. Gambit and Vitality.
Gambit's going to be jumping through these smokes, but they don't even have to. What a spray from Hobbit.
He's doing everything. Shiro fighting his way back, and he's going to get that one kill, but Kyojin is still up there. Grenade won't get the kill on him, but the M4 most certainly will. That might have been what they needed. Samu back at it again. He will find a third and a fourth headshot as well. Don't fall. Don't give him the ace, but there it is. What an absolute monster. And Kyojin is on his own and being hunted from every angle. It's going to be the win for Gambit.
But remember, NaVi's got the AK, and he's the third man in, but the third man down.
No, okay. No, oh, wow. All right, well, the Symbols decided to be ruthless in half two.
So that's gonna happen, huh? Oh! A third! But this was the hurdle that Liquid fell on last time, and it looks like they're gonna fall on it yet again. Farewell, Team Liquid.
It's all been leading up to this, the final day of Counter-Strike in 2021 and the ultimate culmination here in Copenhagen, the last day of the Blast World Finals 2021, and we are ready to crown a new champion. My name is Ferris Biz, your desk host for the duration of the day. Of course, joining me up on this star-studded analyst desk, Pimp, Yanko. What a way to be rounding out the year today.
It couldn't be any better. We have the best players in the world joining the server today. We have the best teams in the world joining the server today, and what a fitting way to end a fantastic 21. Who's been plagued by COVID, who's been plagued by a lot of unfortunate situations, but we couldn't wish for a better ending to the year.
Yeah, it's been a pretty turbulent year, right? But a year in which we also witnessed the return of LAN, the return of Arena Counter-Strike, the return of the crowd, and yeah, I agree 100%. A fitting way to end the year here with the Blast World Final.
Yeah, and I love that we have the players in attendance in the studio with us, but we do need to take a look at what was on the cards yesterday. 2 best of 3s, only 2 maps on the side of each. Gambit taking it pretty convincingly against Vitality to start it off.
I guess that was slightly surprising, the fact that Gambit were able to win 2-0 in that game. And to be fair, you know, Vitality did play a decent game of Counter-Strike. I just think we saw Gambit, you know, step it up another level. We've been discussing it for quite some time, how we feel they're not there yet when it comes to the online performances, but every single game they play is more experience gained, and I think Gambit right now is a team that is looking to potentially take the first LAN trophy they can.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. A lot of questions in terms of those LAN performances for Gambit. If they take it today, are those questions out the window?
I think so. I think it's also a very interesting run for Gambit. It hasn't really been that remarkable, but they're just getting it done, right? It's not eye-popping, but quietly everyone on the team is doing really, really well. Like everyone's above 1 rating. Inter's also having a great tournament, right? So that's actually dangerous for whoever meets them in the final, even if it's NaVi, a team that's really firing on all cylinders and everyone that is executing their role well. Those are the toughest teams to beat. Yeah,
and speaking of NaVi, they did manage to finally claim revenge versus Team Liquid yesterday, the very team that pushed them down into that lower bracket gauntlet, and they did it in 2.
They did it in 2. They did it in style. I think NaVi were the better team yesterday, with no doubt at all. The first game on Dust 2 was a little bit back and forth. I saw Liquid have chances in order to make that more competitive. We discussed yesterday how they lost a lot of these force buy situations, a lot of 4v2. So Liquid weren't without a chance yesterday, but then again, when the man on the screen right here stepped it up on the second map, there was nothing, absolutely nothing Liquid could do to stop him. Simple is on a tear right now, and I think he's on a raw as well. He wants to prove and he wants to point that this MVP of this tournament is his.
Yeah, I think it was a very frustrating game for Team Liquid, right? Some of the rounds that you mentioned, and Simple with a triple kill with the Scout, right? That was pretty much the final nail in the coffin on Dust 2. And yeah, on Inferno this time around, they couldn't really get that momentum going on their CT side. That was where they had a massive performance first time around. And you know, I think it's also a fitting end to this Team Liquid lineup. It's the last time we see them together.
Yeah, I do want to give some props to them as well, bringing up that context, Yanko. The fact that they do make a top 4 when they are branded, you know, as a dead team, we know they're not going to be playing together in 2022.
It was impressive. To me, it was impressive. They came into this tournament. We all knew that that was going to be the last time these players played together, especially when you take into consideration all these interviews where some of the players were, you know, a bit harsh towards each other, you know, couldn't really figure it out, couldn't get on the same page. The fact that they were able to deliver on the server, beat teams like Astralis and you know, beat NaVi as well in the tournament, that was impressive. So Liquid, they went out with a bang.
Yeah, definitely a valiant effort from them. But we do need to recap our CS Money play of the day for our penultimate day here at the World Finals. What are we coming up at play number 3, Jake?
We got Perfecto, the support player of NaVi, showing it's how it's done. With only 5 seconds left, he is completely tearing Liquid apart. And again, big part of the reason why that game went closer.
And Zywo, I don't know how this play didn't win, just tells you how popular Simple is, but this was just insane against Gambit with just Deagle, really the first kill, a wallbang, and now this sequence here is just why Zywo is who he is and why we always say, you know, there's gonna be a Zywo round happening, just completely knocking Gambit out.
Yeah, and I agree, Yanko. The only player who can, you know, outbeat Zywo in a competition like this would be Simple. With the scout round we saw yesterday, I think the impact of this round is what says the most. They're down 10-6 and Simple picks up the scout and just do the dirty stuff to Team Liquid. You're not supposed to hit these shots, Freya. You're simply not supposed to do what he's doing right here.
No, you're not supposed to do anything that Simple manages to pull off time and time again on the server. And we'll be seeing a lot more of him coming up today. We can take a look at the brackets, see exactly how things are shaping up coming into the final day of competition here at the World Finals. Of course, we saw that Gambit victory knocking Vitality down into that lower bracket, and Gambit catapulting themselves to that finals. They're going to be watching these two teams very closely in this first game.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and also have some extra time off, really.
Yeah.
I think that cannot be underestimated as well. You know, neither of these, even NaVi can't go into the game, you know, expecting to win and just kind of thinking about Gambit. You don't have that luxury with the way Vitality has been playing, and, you know, having to play 2 best-of-3s on the same day without much time in between. You can't do your detailed, thorough preparation that you're used to. That's going to be a tough battle.
Definitely a question of stamina for the first two teams coming up in this first game.
They have a lot of experience, though. I would agree. Had it been Gambit in this scenario where they had to play 2 games in a day on LAN, we've seen how they sometimes lose focus, they lose concentration, and again, haven't been able to replicate the performance from online coming into LAN. I would have been worried, but given it's Vitality who have a lot of LAN experience, given it's NaVi who have a lot of LAN experience, I'm not too worried. I think when we get to the final, when we get to the final game of the year, let's not forget that this is the last time we get to see Tier 1 Counter-Strike in 21. I'm sure there'll be energy enough in order to pull it off.
I don't know, they have experience, but not in this scenario, right? Like, you could play a best-of-5 final could take longer than you having to play 2 best-of-3s in some situation, but like just the fact that you can't go through everything in detail, right? Like, you can't really, you know, we saw in some games where teams have to play, you know, they just have to do the veto instantly. You don't even have time to think about the maps as much maybe as you'd like. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it because that what gives Gambit a little bit of an extra chance. Maybe they can pull off an upset.
Yeah, no, and for the side of NaVi coming into this as well, I just want to roll the clock back to this time last year, or this time in January of 2021, at the World Finals of 2020. The fact that they are on the exact same path as they were, Liquid knocking them down to that lower bracket, managing to redeem themselves against Liquid, and they lifted the trophy there.
Yeah, they've done it once. Why shouldn't they be able to do it again for you? That is the million-dollar question right there. NaVi maybe, you know, a little bit slow in terms of coming into the tournament. I think Blade said it as well. They're running out of their fumes right now. But as I said, you know, this is the last day of Tier 1 Counter-Strike in 21. So I'm sure you can find that extra bit of energy in order to pull off a great win if it were to be NaVi.
Well, Gambit are awaiting eagerly in that grand final, but now it is time to find out who will be joining them. NaVi already on a terror form throughout this year and throughout the lower bracket. They're going to have to bring it to Vitality one last time in hopes to claim their spot there. We're going to be diving into the action in just a few. The race to the grand finals has reached boiling point as NaVi and Vitality are both ready to bring the heat. For one final time this year, we get to see them go toe-to-toe. But these history books are slightly tainted for Vitality. Unfortunately, Yanko, for the Frenchmen, not able to deal the finishing blow to NaVi at any point throughout 21.
Yeah, that's been pretty rough, I mean, throughout the year. And they also met plenty of times in the second half of the year, really, twice at the fall finals, quarterfinals of the PGL Major, and at Pro League in a best-of-5 grand final, where actually, you know, Vitality had a couple of dominant map wins in that series, and it went 16-14 on the 5th map. So they definitely have a way to play against them. It's just they can't really. NaVi is just too good at the moment.
Maybe a bit of a kryptonite for the side of Vitality then, NaVi. I mean, a bit of a kryptonite for a lot of teams in 2021, to be fair.
Yeah, that's the thing. You could say so, right? But I feel it's more a case of NaVi being the best team in 21, especially considering the last stages of the year. Whereas Vitality, when you come to think of it, in 21, we've been talking about this lineup being a lineup that hasn't really lived up to their potential. It's only the last couple of months, basically ever since the Major, that we started to put stock into Vitality. So it kind of makes sense to me that NaVi have been able to win the most of their series against Vitality. But truth to be told, you know, I think Vitality are getting closer and closer to NaVi. Yeah,
we can take a look at both teams' runs throughout the tournament here. Definitely a huge surprise to see Team Liquid being the ones of all teams to be bidding NaVi into that lower bracket. For Vitality, it was pretty smooth sailing. They were looking pretty dominant up until that game against Gambit.
Yeah, they were, you know, they just completely stomped Astralis. Then against G2, it was a clean series. And against Gambit, they had their chances. I mean, it was, again, a very close game, but they just couldn't find a way to close it out. And I think, you know, some of the losses have been pretty convincing for Vitality against NaVi. But also, I think this is probably the best they've looked ever since they, you know, those rumors started circulating and whatnot. So it's going to be, I think, a little bit different this time around.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that we bring up, or you bring up the point, Pimp, of saying they've looked really, really solid ever since the Major. And that was the point that we heard about these rumors potentially circulating and the team going their separate, or some of the members of the team going their separate ways in 22.
It is kind of wild to think that Vitality, who came into 21 being one of the most exciting teams to follow. Let's not forget that we had the Blast Global Finals, you know, in the beginning of the year, and Vitality was still experimenting with this whole 6-man roster thing. NaVi being switched in and out, Masuta coming in and out, Shox even being on the bench once in a while. It was a very interesting period for Vitality, but then it fussed out. They couldn't really get it going. The spring wasn't good. The summer period wasn't good. Only up until the Major, where they managed to get into the quarterfinal after going 0-2 in the group stage, and they put up a fight against NaVi as well in the Major quarterfinal. So yeah, as you said, Freya, it's a team that slowly but surely has been getting better and better. And to me, it tells me that as long as the pressure is not on Vitality, they can play good Counter-Strike.
Yeah, these were some of the matchups that you were particularly highlighting coming in, Yanko, particularly this best-of-5 final at EPL.
Yeah, because look at how back and forth it was. You know, these are the two maps that Vitality picked, 16-6, 16-7, right? Very one-sided until that Mirage, which was the 5th map. And also in the series that they had prior to the fall final, 16-6 for Vitality. The point being, you know, when they win, it's actually pretty convincing. That's when, like, things go according to plan. They execute the game plan well, but, you know, the problem with playing NaVi, things are rarely going to go according to the plan.
Yes, particularly when you've got a fired-up Simple on the other side as well. And that's the interesting thing when we're looking at Vitality, and something that I really enjoyed seeing the progression throughout the entirety of 21 is the fact that we're not relying on just ZywOo to be putting up those star performances anymore.
We have seen more of Masuta, we have seen more of Apex, we have seen more of Shox as well. I think it's a player that's gone a bit under the radar. He's getting better and better in his lurk role. He seems to be playing more freely as well, takes more responsibility on the server. So I agree, Freya. It's not all about the ZywOo show, and then again, it is all about the ZywOo show. We've seen it time and time again for Vitality, even in this period where they've been playing good. ZywOo, he goes plus 40 and the rest of the team is in minus KD. It happens over and over again. So yes, that's the problem for Vitality. If they want to beat NaVi today, NaVi's team is so well-rounded that you need Masuta, you need Shox, you need Apex to step it up. ZywOo cannot do it alone.
Yeah, and that's something that we heard, you know, I think it was during the PGL Major, right? It was after the Legends stage. Apex was saying, you know what, ZywOo, you really need to start fragging. And then he does. He literally somehow manages to turn it on. And it's been a real treat to see him being able to transfer that back over to LAN as well.
Yeah, I don't know why he was saving that while they were, you know, 0-2. You know, just tell him that at the start. They don't have to be 0-2, no. But I think here's the thing, right? A player like ZywOo, he can win you some series even against like mid-tier opponents, but when you play against a team like NaVi, you know, ZywOo can't beat NaVi. Vitality has to beat NaVi. He has to obviously play really well, and he's probably going to be, you know, the main player in that series, but everyone has to contribute because NaVi is such a well-rounded team, right? So solid at the moment that they're not going to make too many mistakes, right? And when that happens, that's usually how players carry some and win some rounds, right? The other team makes a little bit of a mistake, you capitalize on it, and I don't think that's going to be the case here today.
And that's the thing, that's a huge question mark when we're looking at the side of Vitality. You've been mentioning it, that, we've seen Masuta stepping up. It was back at the full finals that we heard with an interview with Banks after a loss from Vitality. Masuta was saying, I'm actually really fired up to come back into this. I'm really enjoying the LAN atmosphere. And then he does subsequently on the final day, not enough to be lifting the trophy there. But I'm still questioning the consistent level that we see Masuta on, particularly going up against the best team in the world right now.
You're spot on, right? Because that's the problem for Vitality and Masuta in particular, the consistency coming out of him. We've seen in this tournament alone that he can put up some carry performances. He can be that secondary star role that he was supposed to be when he was brought into Vitality. He's matured a lot as a player, and I will give him the credit that he's found more consistency, but he's not at an electronic level. Like, if you compare the two players and they play the similar role somewhat, he's not the same player. Same for Bit. Bit, I believe, is already now in a very young stage of his career, more consistent than Masuta. So there's a lot more question marks surrounding Vitality and their individual performances than when you look towards NaVi, where it's almost a given that 9 out of 10 games, Electronic, Bit, and Simple will play well.
I think it's also a bit of a given to compare two players on each side, Simple and ZywOo coming into this. The age-old tale, really. How we kind of been comparing these two teams sort of throughout the tail end of 21 and coming into this event?
Yeah, I think it's, the clear one is that NaVi is just doing better as a team and winning more trophies. But I think also Simple, ZywOo, when you look at it individually, he is also up there, right? I mean, that also, it's insane, like the performance from Simple at the Major and in Cologne, like those ratings are just through the roof, right? It's helped a little bit by the fact that they're winning too, but that's mostly the reason why. And yeah, I think we're just blessed really to have these two players duke it out. I mean, they've been going back and forth with the best player of the year the last couple of years, definitely going Simple's way this time around, but it's just awesome to see, like, whenever they go, it's not, they're not going to have too many head-to-head duels, but just what they're both capable of as operas, it's amazing to watch.
I would like to be a little bit vocal about the fan reaction as well to this duel, right? Because there's no doubt that when you have Simple going up against ZywOo, you also have some of the most passionate fans supporting Simple, some of the most passionate fans supporting ZywOo. But we're in an era right now of Counter-Strike where we have 3, maybe even 4 players in contention to be the best player in the world, and we need to appreciate that.
Yeah.
The Simple show we're witnessing at the Major, the Simple show we're witnessing at this tournament wouldn't be as impressive if there wasn't anyone to push him into that direction, if there wasn't a ZywOo who would put him under pressure with another insane performance. So if you're a NaVi fan, if you're a Simple fan, you should clap your hands for ZywOo as well, because without them, without the people pressuring Simple into this insane level, he would just be a guard. Right now, what we're seeing from Simple may be the best Counter-Strike he's ever played throughout the entire year, and that's impressive to say that about a player who's been so insane the last 5 years.
Yeah, we can take a look at some of the top ratings thus far at the World Finals. They're definitely posting up some incredible numbers so far.
Yeah, it has been impressive, that game against Astralis, with a 2.08 rating, a 4 KD, like that definitely helped his overall rating for the tournament. And yeah, I think there's a little bit of ZywOo helping Simple get better, right? Same thing as how NaVi got better a little bit because of Gambit. Like, Gambit was the best team in the world first half of the year. They played them 100 times over like CIS tournaments and just European tournaments, right? And that kind of pushes you to raise your level, right? Because if you want to be the best, you have to be the best. And I think that's definitely why we're seeing Simple. He's also, not winning last year the #1 spot. I think he, feels like he was maybe kind of betrayed there. So definitely came back this year with a vengeance.
Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of them on the server, but we do have a very special treat as Banks has managed to grab both players for a pre-match interview.
It's NaVi taking on Vitality, and it's been a story across the entire year here. Now, ZywOo's on my right, Simple is on my left, the 2 greatest players we have within Counter-Strike, and we've been able to witness them going head-to-head all year long. Now, ZywOo, I'm going to start with you. It's been a tough year for Vitality. You're on your last dance. How's it going to be any different against NaVi this time around?
I don't know, like having fun on the server like every time. We don't care about NaVi. We just want to take revenge, of course, of this year. But we don't have tension, just want to play our games, that's it.
And would you say that you individually right now are in your best performance?
For this year, yeah, I think this is my best performance. I don't know why, but let's see.
Now, he's been feeling it so far this event, but Sasha, these last 2 games, you've been looking really good as well. But how much do you want this win, this go through the lower bracket? Is the motivation, the hunger still there, despite being tired and the energy?
Yeah, it's sad, it's sad to just be eliminated, and it's only thankfully to my team. I put these numbers on the last 2 games because we start play much better than we played our first game. So yeah, looking forward to play against Vitality because they're strong opponent, and they have a really good map pool against us all the time. So it's going to be a fun game.
But the last 2 times you guys faced off against each other, it wasn't that very close, right? You guys had much more dominant scorelines. So you're confident that you're at that same level to reach it again?
I hope so, because the last time they destroyed us on nuke and removed our win streak. So I hope our nuke today is going to be much better. So yeah.
And in terms of your individual level right now, are you feeling in the zone? You feeling ready to deliver the big numbers?
I mean, I just know I need to hit my shots, and my teammates need to hit shots, and that's it. Because if my team is gonna hit shot, I hope they will gonna die at least once.
All right, boys, shake hands. This is a Clash of the Titans. Thank you very much, boys. Thank you. Bomb.
The Clash of Giants, indeed. Man, we are just so lucky to have so much incredible talent within the Counter-Strike pool. And we're so lucky to have these both 2 players in the studio as well.
Yeah, and playing well, playing the best brand of Counter-Strike. It would be likely to think, right, it's the ending of the year, maybe the fuels are running a bit low for both players, but they both seem super, super motivated to finish off 21 in fashion, in style, and the level they've been playing at so far in this tournament has been absolutely absurd. It's insane they can keep doing it event after event.
Yeah, it seems they're in peak form, and I'll always quote Anders what he said when talking about Simple and ZywOo, right? Like ZywOo, he feels like the ultimate test taker, right? Like has the perfect answers, like his decision making is so on point, and then Simple is just like, he does things where he gives you answers that you didn't even know were the answers to the test. Like he just thinks outside the box, he's so flamboyant. I think that's a great way to describe them stylistically, but both obviously super impactful for their teams.
Yeah, and it's not just the players that have been really impressing from both sides of the equation coming into the World Finals. There are some particular statistics you wanted to bring up thus far from the event.
Yeah, I think for both of these teams, like they're the 2 best teams in pistol rounds at this event. I mean, you can see the percentages are just through the roof, really, for Vitality and NaVi, 83 and 85%, and the conversion for NaVi is crazy. Like out of the, they've only lost the second round once out of the 17 times they won the pistol round. Like it's just crazy. For Vitality, it's a little bit lower, but I think this is going to be a huge point of contention. ZywOo is the best pistol player in the world. There's no doubt about that. And I think that some of those wins we saw from Vitality in the head-to-head, they were so dominant because they would win both pistols, right? And then just, they're a team that has very strong game plans at the start of games, so they are good at snowballing games. Like if they, what happens is they win pistol round, first gun round, they're 5-0 up, and that turns into an 11-4, 12-3 half. Very rarely do they give up that sort of a lead, and the half ends like 8-7, 9-6.
Yeah, I love that you're picking up on the momentum for the side there, because I feel like that's been a key theme so far throughout the World Finals, and to be fair, throughout 21 as well.
It is. Momentum is important. Pistol rounds are very important, and we've seen both teams do super, super well at it so far in the tournament. Another player that's gone a little bit under the radar in terms of his pistol impact is Kyojin, and I think that's where I want to drive the conversation towards now, because for me, it's a given that we're going to see Simple and ZywOo play at their best, so I don't think Simple is going to decide the game. I don't think ZywOo is going to be the one who decides the game. It'll be the support cast, and the duel you see right here between Perfecto and Kyojin is a bit of a worrisome problem when you look at Vitality, because Kyojin have not been playing a good tournament. He is good with the pistols, he is contributing a lot in certain scenarios, especially the Deagle as well, but when it comes to the buy rounds and the rifle rounds, he seems to fall off a little bit. His clutching abilities is nowhere near Perfecto, so when you look towards the support cast of NaVi, like how well-rounded they are as a team, you're looking at Bit, you're looking at Electronic, you're looking at Perfecto. I would say, and I would argue that in those roles, they all have better players than Vitality. The one area where you could argue Vitality have the upper hand would be on the in-game leading role in Apex, and that's also an interesting point. How much can he do and how much can he influence the game? I think it's coming down to the support cast and not necessarily the star players.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, people are sometimes have this illusion that, the star players are the one who actually have to do always more, and that's what's missing. You can't go to LeBron and ask him, hey, could you start scoring 50, 60 points a game? No, it's like, can you rest of you guys hit an open shot, please, for once in your life? Because so much focus is addressed at the star player. You always have to worry about him, you also have to, well, listen, we heard it from Hampus in the interview after the G2 game. It's like, well, Nico is one of the best players in the world right now. Maybe we should just go to the other side, right? That's actually, so that's why you always have to be on point. That also gives you an advantage, being able to kind of predict, almost get a better read on your opponents, what they want to do. But also when the time comes, you need to perform, you need to show up.
Yeah, no, I do like that comparison as well, because we have seen some extremities in this tournament. Going back to G2, obviously, Nico trying to put them on his back and carry them throughout this tournament. Unfortunately, didn't work out for them. But it's kind of interesting to look at how critical that support cast is. A really good point to bring up, because I feel like it is very underrated underestimated a lot of the time.
It is, especially in a matchup when you have two so significant star players. As I said, it's a given that ZywOo will play well, more or less. It's a given that Simple will show up. So you look towards your bid, you look towards your electronic, and you hope those secondary strings, those secondary stars can perform right. Shox and Mitsuta is a good duo as well, but as we talked about before, Freya, it's the inconsistency that worries me a little bit, and then we go down to the 4th and 5th string in Boomich and Perfecto. I will argue that Perfecto right now could be one of the best support players, if not the best support player in the world, whereas Kyojin is, with all due respect, a weak link within Vitality. So that is going to be a problem. And that comes in, that's where Apex comes into place as well, because how much can you facilitate? How much can you help Kyojin? Can you, put a player next to him, flash more for him, or try to elevate him? Or should you just, say, okay, you are a liability, so we're going to put more focus on ZywOo and hope he can make up for that liability. There's some strategical choices Vitality will have to make. Either you help him a lot, or you leave him by himself.
Yeah, and it's been incredible to see the development of Apex coming into this in-game leader role. We are going to get a few words from him before heading into this series.
We're on Championship Sunday, and I've got Vitality's Apex with me here. And Dan, you've got a long day ahead of you, potentially 2 best-of-3s within this one. Obviously, it's one that you've been used to, but it's the end of the year. The energy starts to run out a bit more. How are you guys? How are the team feeling?
Exhausted. As I said before, 4th week together. It's a lot. 3rd tournament. Last day. Important day as well for the team. It can be the last game together. So it means a lot. So yeah, I'm also exhausted, but also excited.
You're always excited. You're always smiling as well, Dan. That's what we love about it. But when it comes to this matchup, right, NaVi have been the toughest team for you guys year after year, denying you these finals, And even in the recent games, the scoreline's become a bit more in their favor, right? It's not been as close games. How do you imagine it being different today?
Well, it depends the game we played, but obviously the first one we had in Blast Final was on the side. The second one was more like accurate, but still on their favor. Yeah, 2021 against NaVi has been really tough for us. The last years was okay. This one is tough. We never beat them, and obviously it's not gonna be easy again. But we're gonna give our best as usual to try to beat them, and let's see how it goes. I mean, obviously, if we want to beat them, we will need us at our 100% and them a bit less good than usual, I guess. So let's see how it goes.
And they have been a bit less good than usual, right, throughout this event. So there is certainly a chance of it. But what have you said to the team? What have you said to your players before going into this game?
Well, we didn't talk about the opponents. We just talk about ourselves, the way we want to finish everything together. And it's not about like the way we want to play CS. Yesterday was the greatest mood we ever had, to be honest, during the game. I felt that's why we lost yesterday. So I just want us to enjoy, because we had so much great things with this team, and just being able to finish on the right way, most likely in the head and mentally, will be something I will never forget. The win is not in our hands sometimes. It's just like the way we play CS. But if the mentality is good, at least we will enjoy.
And one thing, right, we've got to talk about it, because Simple and ZywOo both put up some of the crazy numbers, but you've also got Mitsuta there alongside you as well right now. Do you think that's going to be the difference maker?
Obviously. If we're 3 to perform in this game, I don't talk about me or Mitsuta, but also Shox and Kyojin. If 3 of us are performing really well, I think we can beat them. And that always been a problem for us. I guess like almost only ZywOo played really well, and obviously being alone is tough. So I hope at least 2 or 3 guys will be able to play really well, and maybe it can happen.
Let's see if it can happen. Dan, good luck, man. Thank you very much.
No wonder Apex is a little bit exhausted after the screaming and shouting he's been doing in the studio here. Interesting to hear, though, that he's sort of relying on NaVi not to come in as hot as he's seen them.
Yeah, but I think you have to, right? If they're playing their A game, they're just the better team, right? And I also think the most overused term in the last 3 months of Counter-Strike, the last dance, but this is it. This is it for it. It is the last dance. It's the last time these 5 players are going to be together. It might be a while since we see, a French team be this deep, a fully French team on the stage, so they can really use that now to fuel them. You heard them say yesterday they weren't feeling as good, like the energy wasn't there, and today it's like you give it everything you have.
Well, the pick and bans are rolling in. Last time around, we actually saw Vitality ending NaVi's nuke streak. Do you think they let it through this time?
Yeah, I think it's a potential. I think this video is super, super interesting. We do see the nuke pick coming out here, and that's nice because Vitality have been playing well on nuke. They've elevated their level on nuke. Whereas for NaVi, Inferno could have been a pick for them, but they've been shaky on the map so far. So I think both these teams are coming into this video respecting each other. We see the Dust 2 pick coming out of Vitality as well. To me, that's very interesting because that's one of the comfort picks of NaVi. So right now, they're kind of picking into each other's map pool, and that's also a storyline. They played so much against each other, so they know each other in and out.
That was the map that they brought up in the PGL major quarterfinal, and I was a bit like, I don't really want that, because there was a time when NaVi were picking that as their favorite.
Yeah, it's true, but it was rough, you know, that series, and we see here the Mirage has decided, another interesting decision from Vitality, right, to go for it over Inferno. But I think the major quarterfinal, like NaVi won all 4 pistols. We're talking about how important pistols are. They won 3, and the one they lost, they won the second round, right? So they had a good start in each of these halves. We're talking about the 16-13, 16-11 game. You know, pistol rounds swing that score the other way potentially very easily, right? So I think that game was closer than maybe the score showed, and Vitality had a way to win that game, just couldn't get any of the good starts.
Yeah, and I like the fact that NaVi have the balls to pick nuke once again, saying, you know what, you ended our streak on nuke, but we know a thing or two about this map.
Especially because it allows Vitality to start on the CT side. It allows them to potentially come off to a good start, and as we discussed so many times up here already, the good starts are going to be vital in this game. Last time they did beat them, there was a team effort. I'm curious to see if that's going to be the case again for you.
Yeah, I think also for Dust 2, you look at, you know, Apex was talking about the other players, and Shock's a very good lurker on this map on the T side, right? When they go towards A, whether playing lower B or top mid, like he switches it up as well. And we saw him, like he's playing with a lot of patience, being really able to punish people from those positions. So that might be also a way, you know, to get some of the other guys going.
Well, so much on the line coming into this matchup, deciding who will take on Gambit later in the coveted grand final. But before we do jump into the server, James has a few words with some of the players.
Vitality stumbled against Gambit and lost 2-0. Now they're in the lower bracket against NaVi, their nemesis throughout the year.
So that's gonna happen, huh?
Yeah. Oh! A third!
Will this be the last dance or just the last step?
That might have been what they needed. Cyril back at it again. He will find a third and a fourth. Don't give him the ace, but there it is. What an absolute monster.
It's time for the clash of the Titans. We've got NaVi going up against Vitality one final time in 2021, especially before these changes come in for Vitality. Now, Vitality has been a tough opponent across this year for you guys, but you've still come out on top over and over again, Blade. How's the confidence?
Normal confidence, like usual confidence.
And in terms of your players right now, right, we're seeing game after game things have been improving, you guys have been performing better. Do you feel like there's anything that Vitality can do to stop you guys right now, or is it full force NaVi?
I don't know. I think we will try just to play our game, and we will not try to focus how confident they are or what they can do. We just will try to play as good as we played before versus them.
Well, let's see if you can get it done, Blade. Good luck, man. Thank you very much. We make our way over to the Vitality side, and for Vitality, it may be the last dance for these guys, but they want to go out with a bang. They also want to be getting themselves some revenge against Gambit, who sent them down to the lower bracket. Shoxy knows what time it is. How are you feeling, my friend?
Pretty good, man. You are so beautiful today.
Oh, thank you very much, Shoxy. Look at your compliments as well. So you're definitely in a good mood for this one. But that team over there, they gave you a hard time throughout all of this year. How badly do you want to end on a high note and eliminate them here today?
The maximum, I will say. Definitely, it's gonna be the last day anyway in 2021. It's also our last chance today to win against them with this lineup. So you better do it today, or you will never be able to do it.
And how do you feel in it? Is it slight different kind of pressure, not just because of the game and where you're at, but because of you want to get that win so badly over them?
I would say it's exciting.
Okay.
That's it.
That's the same. Well, anything special you've done, anything different you've done to make sure you're in the best shape possible?
No, nothing different. Nothing different, just we know it's the last day, so we just want to make sure like everyone in the team having a good time is the main goal today, definitely.
I'm sure you will. Shoxy, go get it on. Thank you very much. It's time for us to get into the game. It's time for us to see how this one's going to go down for one final time in 2021. It's NaVi taking on Vitality.
Ooh, here we go. What a game this will be. Vitality, they had better be ready. They are going to be facing up against NaVi, of course. You can see them in a huddle, just about to get the last things underway. NaVi on the other side, obviously the best team in the world right now.
Yeah, and actually very, very critical as well for NaVi to be focused and get everyone on the same page. That's been the constant conversation around NaVi from within them, from what we hear from Blade, from what we hear from the players. This event for them running out of gas as this year comes to a close. So much investment and getting to this point, so much energy and emotional investment in winning that major, and now you're struggling to get over that last little hurdle.
Yeah, you really don't want to end the year with a bit of a tumble. And Vitality, a team that's been playing incredibly well, but that is also about to dissolve in some fashion.
Yep.
I mean, you'd want to see NaVi make through this test, but on the other hand, Vitality maybe don't have almost anything to lose. The odds are actually shockingly close in some way. NaVi obviously favored, but still.
Yeah, I mean, Vitality's been playing so good down the stretch. Obviously, just winning IEM Winter as well, coming in here with a lot of confidence. They've looked good at times throughout this event. Struggled a little bit here and there. Yesterday wasn't their cleanest game. I think we kind of left that game against Gambit in the upper bracket finals saying, man, Vitality had a real chance, and some uncharacteristic mistakes kind of ripped it out of their control.
Yeah.
So we'll see coming into this one. It is kind of hard, obviously. We know this is probably the last time we're going to see this lineup from Vitality played together. Sometimes it is difficult to keep those, even with that lack of pressure, even with the knowledge that you guys are going to split up, hard to keep that focus there. Both these teams striving for it. Vitality versus NaVi, fighting for a chance to take on Gambit in the grand finals. We're live here at the Blast World Finals.
NaVi, that will be on the T side. Vitality on the CT side, starting on Nuke. And already seeing an HE and a couple of smokes and a Molotov, so they could do a lot with this. Smoke is already going to be deployed, and outside Boomich making a bit of a jump. Actually, very aggressive move from Vitality to move into the yard. It's Kyoji to start off. Apex! Nice fadeaway shot as he takes down Boomich, and that will take the wind right out of NaVi's sails here.
Yeah, on top of that, Simple's caught trying to go through smoke, through Squeaky Door, and Misuta got it back away. Better hustle. They're going to drop down on you. Now you're committed. Now you're dead no matter what. Electronic has the trade, but still a tough situation for NaVi to break into. 2 on 4, and they're boxed in.
I mean, Misuta probably would have been better if he could have got away, but once he realized he couldn't, stand your ground and fight.
Yep.
And he did. Managed to pick up at least the 1 kill. Bit in Electronic should not be able to make their way back out of this round. Saibu is covering this line with the dualies, and he'll get one, and he will get both, in fact. Good job. Vitality on the board early on.
Yeah, beautiful shooting with the dualies. Double kill right at the end for Zaiwu. Nice pistol round, and you're right. That was very assertive from Vitality. That was very much saying we're going to control everything. Obviously, all the pressure put on towards door. That's obviously a little bit of luck. But even the push outside, the double nade, the apex swing at red box, they're basically challenging for the entire map in that round. Good start. They needed it too. Must feel extra good when you shoot into the smoke like that and you see it's Simple's name of the corner. Like, yeah, hell yeah. Get him out of there. Take that one all day. So, just a bit, I think maybe mic issue for Simon. It looked like a mic issue. You know, we can't always tell what the problem is, but this one seems a little obvious. This one seems out there. Something going on. So, fix that right up, and then we will get back into the second round. Red, white, and blue keyboard? Oh, you're right. Beautiful colors. Representing Russia? No, just to piss people off. Right, geopolitical humor. I know, always sketchy, always dangerous. It's gonna be... Those are just notes. The guy's got like a whole clipboard. Yeah, he's studying legit. At the exam. I've never tried. Usually the night before. It's an open notes exam. Yeah. The favorite kind. Usually the night before, right, where you're like panicked. You're like, oh no, I'll never do this again. Next exam, I'll do months in advance. I'll get ready. Yeah, this is I'm never doing this again. 1-0 for Vitality. SMGs, rifles, a scout on Zaiwu. For NaVi, they're gonna chill in this round. No investment in pistols, no armor, no utility. So looking for that third round buy on the offensive side. So some upgraded pistols. Only the 1 deagle. We've seen this switch a lot now, where Deagle's being purchased less. We're seeing the 5.7 picked up more. Obviously, P250 now in this case for NaVi, but just a bit of a less use for the Deagle these days. Very slow round so far. Ooh, nice swing. That
Probably could have worked out as a headshot there. They're going to find Electronic, though. Apex, good stuff. And what a nade. That will make his job so much easier on that MP9. And Dualies.
Yes.
Another say.
Yes. Bring him out, Zaiwu. Let's go. Did you see the simple round from last night yet?
I did see
You
it.
went back and looked at it? It was pretty filthy, wasn't it?
It was. I thought actually, even as someone who's not really a connoisseur of the dualies, I thought it was pretty beautiful. You know? It's like, he made that look so assertive. He was like, all right,
Yeah.
tap, get away. It's good. Third round coming up, and we have got Galils. Usually don't see a 5-man Galil buy.
No, but obviously NaVi prioritizing the utility, right? Having all the nades to be able to work across the map with these Galils. We'll see what it can do for him. A lot of players up on the roof. Lining up early, Perfecto teasing behind the ramp room smoke. A lot of bodies outside for Vitality. Apex is in mini, Shox is pushed up at red box, and Zaiwu's just falling back now. Simulating an upper hit. No bodies committed from NaVi quite yet. Nobody out, and so the defense is calling it clear.
Yep, trying to see if they could catch Masutra on the ramp while they were doing all of that. That's all of the nades done for NaVi. I'm actually a bit confused about that. Normally, if you were going to do like a double pump, you'd want at least to save a little bit. They're going to get Masutra on the return, and that's actually well worth it. They're going to be quite happy with that trade. But look at Shox. How did he get into this position? It's almost impossible that anyone from NaVi would turn around and check this. And only disadvantage, maybe it's the MP9 at range, but he sees it. He's ready. He's calling it out, looking for more. There's the shot, and that's the bomb as well. Would have been great to get a double, but I'm glad that he didn't overextend it and try to put too much pressure on himself to do that, because that's exactly the kind of round where you can also screw it up eventually. So just get one, fall back, stay alive.
Yeah, but this is so cool from Kyojin as well. Knowing that all the attention from NaVi is going to turn towards lobby to pick up the bomb, he's actually snuck into a new position, swings out. They know he's here. Simple, not yet committed to the fight. Bits out by the vent as well. Zaiwu getting involved in the action. Important kill from Kyojin, and Shox pounces one more time, and the dualies can't do it. But Apex is lying in wait in the lower bomb site, and Simple's coming right for him.
Yeah, with 1 point of health. He's got no way to know this Simple, but he could almost get knifed here.
I thought he was going to do it too, but he just wanted Simple to know it was coming first.
He stuck that gun right in his face.
Even Simple smiling a little bit. He's like, yep.
Oh, what a camera. And you actually got the like depth of perspective on that gun.
Yeah.
Just, oh, this is personal now. Boom. What a great way to get started. Now, obviously, everyone should be warned. Careful about poking Simple that way.
Yeah, don't poke the bear. We'll see what comes from it. More utility lined up. Tuck 9s, 3 of them. Gonna be fast. This is gonna be a commitment to the upper hit. Kyojin up on top of the hut, sees one. Oh, he's so blind. What a perfectly timed flashbang. Shox as well. Vision just barely coming back at the right moment for him to just fall down. And Masuta holding onto Raptors as best he can, but Simple's toying with them. Electronic, and these pistols are doing their work.
Yeah, way too much work. In fact, nice sneak in from Cyber. No one covering. They just didn't have the manpower, maybe even the firepower to get rid of that upper position. And Cyber will clear out the rest of the round. That's a nice triple to get a 4th one on the board. And that actually saves Vitality. That was looking like maybe NaVi were going to sneak in around out of nowhere.
Yeah, I actually thought that was going to go in NaVi's direction. I'm amazed that Shox is able to survive up in these Raptors that whole time. But man, great flashbangs, great utility from NaVi to get in. Unfortunate. So many bodies thrown at him, so much delaying that Zaiwu rotates into a perfect position. 4-0 for Team Vitality. This has got to feel good in a matchup that you've just lost this entire year. You have not been able to overcome NaVi. You're out to a good start here on Nuke.
Yeah, they're loving their life right now. AKs now instead of Galils. It's obviously an upgrade. A lot of damage on the Boomich. Manages to dodge the nades, and he comes jumping out, flashed through, but Shox. He was looking into the corner, playing that anti-flash position. Kyojin will get a kill. Apex is down and out, and they're trying to see if they can still make it work. Simple's going to pick up a double just like that. And they're in man advantage once again. Simple is working the angles, and he's going to find 3 kills in the round, leaving Saiwo on his own to try and get another triple kill to close out this round.
God, what a round from Simple. He's just done everything. The double kill into the bomb site is fortunate, but a great kill up in the rafters as well. Those are so important. Zaiwu, I don't think you want to go for this unless you're given a gift, unless you just find an easy free kill at some point soon.
They are understandably paranoid about whether or not he might be hiding somewhere when they plant the bomb, because it's 2 of them downstairs. So a bit worrisome if they were to misjudge the situation. Simple crouching in, and he will even land that headshot. A quad kill for Simple in the round, and NaVi you're on the board.
Yeah, you said don't antagonize him. That's a good statement round from Simple. This is just unfortunate for Vitality. Both players, I think, just rotating into the same position, low on HP as well. The Molotov had kept Kyojin out in the open, and just fine shooting from the best player in the world. First round on the board for NaVi, and I mean, if you go back to some of those losses, even just the previous round with the Tech-9s, I mean, getting 3 kills, 4 kills in the round right before that. No money left on Vitality, so NaVi get an early reset of the economy and a little bit of early breathing room as well.
It's kind of interesting, right? They win 4 in a row and still they can't put together a buy. That says something about the game on its own. 6th round.
Remember, that one round that they end up losing, but only one player from Vitality survives, was the 5 Galil round. So, I mean, that utility in those Galils, even despite not pulling the round out in their favor, do great work to set them up for this situation.
Yeah.
Now a 4-on-5. NaVi's going to have to recover. Perfecto not looking the right way. Bit of a crossfire. Shocks is activated. 2-for-1 trade and ramp.
Good work from Masuta, even getting the first headshot there, but Apex is going to be caught. Not aware that Bit had made his way that far down. Cyber and Kyojin. Very hard to win around like this once again. But they have some time. The bomb is only just now being planted. So if they could find the headshot here. Oh, Simple looking away at the wrong time. He has actually could have maybe been peeked right then and there. The box was covering him, I think. So some good movement. And now he's backing up into the corner. Some spray. And he gets the one. Question is whether or not Kyojin could make this a bit more expensive. I don't think he can win the round any longer. Doesn't have armor or anything. And actually, if he could back out, that would be maybe even better. All right. Dangerous stuff, but that AK is worth a lot.
Yeah, it really is. I don't think NaVi's going to hunt either, so Kyojin's going to get away safe. Nicely done. 2nd round on the board for NaVi, handling the pistols just fine. Next round, we'll get another big buy coming in from Vitality. Plenty of M4s. I don't think they cannot afford the AWP yet, so ZywOo is kept off that weapon, at least for the moment.
Yeah, that's got to be a slight relief all on its own. In that CT side, you don't want to be having to face that out in the yard.
Early going still, so no alarm bells quite yet, but Simple up at 9 kills. Next closest on his team is Bit at 3. So Simple's putting in some work. He's had a couple good rounds. Plenty of time for those scores to kind of catch up. Not a huge deal, but Simple's really providing a lot of the early power for NaVi to keep them in this and not let Vitality extend to a big lead.
Yeah, if you were hoping for Vitality to win this game, that's what you kind of don't want to see. You're right, it's not completely out of control yet. But then again, it's also early in the half, so you just never know. He had some really crazy games yesterday. Boomic running out to the bomb site. That is way too deep. No one stopping him. No counter Molotovs coming out to put him down. And that's the round probably won, or definitely won now. That is some kind of a failure in the defense there. Great work from Shocks, but there's no way that he should be allowed to run that deep onto the site. He wasn't flashed the whole time. He just ran there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it could just be just a blind counter to the setup that Vitality was running. But I mean, Apex was down in the vents. Shocks was right next to the vent over by Squeaky Door. And you're right. There's no one to keep that space for Kyojin, who had to put out a Molotov inside the bomb site. Was obviously flashed and blinded. And look, we've seen a couple rounds now, NaVi putting some attention on this A upper bomb site. And their utility has been spectacular. They had it with the Tech-9 round as well. Shocks was completely blind for about 6 seconds up in rafters. Kyojin on top of Hut was completely blinded when he got taken down. So NaVi's upper hits so far in this game have been on point.
I remember right when Boomic kind of took over leadership of the team, I always thought the perfect version of NaVi would be one that had sort of, obviously, you know, with Simple and Electronic before Beat even joined, but the structure of Blade, and then you just add in the madness of Boomic and his ability to do these things, and I feel like that would always be the hardest thing to play against, because just playing against a really well-structured NaVi team with the best player in the world and Electronic as his right-hand man, that's already pretty tough to deal. That's hard to beat no matter what.
Yep.
But that unforeseeable nature of Boomic sometimes, I just feel like that must make it so much worse, just knowing that there could be a random round where a lunatic comes through a smoke with a Mac 10 and you don't even know what to do, really.
Yeah, Lunatic's a perfect way to describe it as well. This is huge. Apex, the only weapon, is going to get the opening kill. That's on Electronic. Here comes the Lunatic, as you mentioned, but he goes down to a Deagle headshot. So does Perfecto. And all of a sudden, a 5-on-2, and the round is turned on its head. Upper, this round is closed entirely.
That's an odd round, but a bit of a life raft thrown to Vitality, or maybe built by themselves, as the case may be. Getting some really important kills here. Bit and Simple are still left, and even in a 2-1-5, I'd want to remind everyone on the team to not throw this one away, because these are some of the hardest hitting players in the world. ZywOo wants to take a peek.
I was going to say, he didn't get that memo.
No, he didn't.
Kyojin, he's a half HP as well. And this is where, let's see, we said it was still early. Simple at 9 kills. This could be where he really, really catapults himself into a strong performance. Simple and Bit moving out of the hut door. Kyojin is exposed, and Apex is up in rafters as well. This would be a great first kill to get, and Bit's got it. Low HP. It's cost him everything.
They could actually die. Oh, another headshot. Simple's taken down. No! They must stop. One at a time. Simple, he is picking it up. A triple for him and one for Bit, and up on the high ground is Suta. He's been spotted. They know, and they will win the 2-on-5. Clutch. What an absolutely miraculous round from NaVi.
4 kills from Simple, and I'll tell you what, dead team or not, that is going to tilt you off the face of the earth to lose a round like that. 5-on-2, and you aren't able to double up in any way. You aren't able to find any kind of double peak, no trade potential in any of these kills. Watch him. I mean, this is too easy for NaVi in this 2v5.
Truly is. Oh. Yeah.
Well,
that's the face you make when you accidentally bite into a lemon, or you happen to play Simple on land.
Accidentally bite into a lemon.
It's been known to happen.
Okay. Sure. Electronic has crossed this round. ZywOo hasn't seen anything, and he's still kept off that AWP. Round number 9, we have not seen ZywOo with an AWP in his hands just yet. Oh, Vitality, that 4-0 start just seems so long ago.
But that is in itself kind of a miracle round from Vitality to get the 3 opening kills with pistols. You pick up the rifles, you could even get the money behind it. I mean, oh man.
No, it's an absolute nightmare. We'll see if they can snap themselves back. Apex, a bit of a fight downstairs. He's doubled up upon. Boomich is going to get the kill. But NaVi haven't picked their final point of attack just yet. They're still all across the map heading towards ramp room. What's the defense there? Shox is in a little bit of transition. Let's see. Perfecto crosses. Electronic's got another kill. And yeah, you're not winning that one. Shout out to Perfecto swinging wide and making sure Shox would be exposed for his team.
Well, ZywOo and Kyojin, as much as they would love to win a 2 versus X on their own, probably not worth it in terms of the economy here. Those guns are way too valuable, so it will be NaVi taking the lead, 5-4. Could have been such a different story, but now Simple's up 14-5, so said the alarm bells weren't ringing earlier, but surely...
Yeah, they are now.
Yeah.
They definitely are now. Not only just like the scoreline of 14-5, but he just got 4 kills and powered NaVi to win that 2v5. And yeah, it's against some unarmored players. A couple of them just had pistols, but still, 5 of them on the map. That's no easy feat. He made it look pretty...
That was his second quad kill, right?
I believe so, yeah.
so hard to deal with. Bomb goes up, and we will head right into the next round. Vitality, yeah, like you said, even as a dissolving team, and even with the potential lack of pressure, that's still going to be very hard to deal with emotionally.
Well, look, it's also, you know, no matter what, you know, we kind of talk about the dead teams and say there's so much less pressure. It's not like everything just magically gets better. I mean, yeah, it's fun and you can have a good time when you're rolling through the first few days of the tournament, right? And then you start getting here into this situation where you actually have a shot at the grand finals, a shot at the titles, and regardless of what situation the team is in, you're going to feel that pressure. And it's hard to be as loose as you might have been on day 1, day 2.
We
haven't seen any finger guns from Apex either yet.
No, that's true. I missed that.
That could be good.
Dualies. If someone could animate like a cowboy hat onto him, and so I'd be so happy. That'd be worth doing. We're 10 rounds in, and we haven't seen the AWP on ZywOo yet.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
It's obviously not what you'd want if you're Vitality, although on the other hand, NaVi has kind of
They haven't really been touching outside a whole lot. Electronics obviously been there, as we all know, but so much has been focused on the upper bomb site, which puts an Opera, if they're able to repeatedly take it, it puts the Opera in a tough position on those retakes. ZywOo, I think he spots one right at the end. Yeah, and he knows Electronic is out here as well, but I don't think Electronic's going to commit to this fight whatsoever. A lot of utility in the upper bomb site, but again, towards ramp we go. NaVi mixing in some fakes and feints.
Cool to see ZywOo take up that challenge outside, even if they've been beaten up a little bit. I mean, I guess it's not surprising that he has the confidence to do it, but that's also what you need, obviously. If you start to get scared and you think, ooh, Simple's having one of those games, let me try and stay away. That's never going to be the solution. So now he's even gone further, and he's actually pushed up all the way, flanking him like Shox did earlier with an MP9. This time, though, it's the A1. Under a minute, and this could... I mean, one kill here, again, could really send NaVi into a spiral.
Yeah, but look how much pressure is being put on the defense elsewhere. This flank needs to come in quick, and he needs to find some success. Apex goes down. He'll be frustrated. Ooh, that's delicious. It's a freebie.
Okay. He actually gets caught. That's not what we want to see.
Yeah, that felt awkward. Real
Just
awkward.
a bit. Now, speaking of which, he's going to be found. Electronic... Nope, realizing... Not welcome.
This wasn't the cleanest round we've ever seen in our lives, but still, Vitality's going to scrape it back. 5-5.
Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah, whatever it takes. You get them all. Boomich caught. Oof. Not expecting it whatsoever.
He fell down like he was doing a backwards dive there. Good stuff. Yeah, that was a little bit weird.
It's all good. It's all good. The flank has worked twice. NaVi's been stopped cold by it a couple of times, but still looking good. It was a 5-0 run until Vitality just wins that round. And still no op on ZywOo.
Very interesting as a tool on Nuke. I mean,
I just don't have the money.
Yeah, I mean, that is obviously the case, but normally that's something they prioritize quite a bit. Again, they flash Boomich. Sure, it's been a couple of times now that he's made that same run, but this time, Kyojin is able to pick up a double kill to try and slow things down. ZywOo quickly traded. Masuta comes in from the high ground as well. Will drop Bit, and Electronic is on his own now. 1 versus 2. Now, he has so much time to play with, where if you want to be creative here, you really can... You couldn't walk anywhere on the map, basically.
Yeah, and Vitality's got to be really careful here. They lost that 5v2 earlier. They cannot continue to lose these clutches. It's what we saw from Team Liquid yesterday up against NaVi is a great game plan, good job in the early and middle rounds, but losing out in a lot of late round situations, a lot of those late clutches going against them. And NaVi, you just let them keep stealing like that, and they're going to build up some unstoppable momentum. Electronic slowly searching, still 40 seconds on the clock, and he has the bomb now.
It's impossible for him to know where is the safe to actually plant the bomb. Funky grenade, doesn't really matter, it's not going to kill anyone. Does get the bomb plant down, so far so good. Now, they have a lot of nades on that CT side. If they manage to isolate him, they could actually just use a Molotov to maybe push him into an awkward position. It's going to be the headshot for Apex. Good 1 versus 2 for Vitality. They made themselves impossible to find.
Yeah, that was a nice try from Electronic. You just got to think about way too much. You could see him already mentally preparing for the fight coming up heaven. Tough situation to be in. 6-5, Vitality regained the lead. But man, again, the flashbangs, the utility usage for NaVi in this upper bomb site is excellent. Shox has been completely neutralized in that position twice. You might want to go away from it.
Yeah, I mean, and Boomich, even though he was swiftly killed afterwards, he actually did get the entry. So that in itself is not necessarily that easy to do. 6-5. They managed to put a stop to Simple for the last 2 rounds. He hasn't picked up another kill. That's
something to be happy about.
Yeah, that's definitely a right step here in the right direction. Still no AWP on ZywOo.
It's been a scrappy fight for these two teams so far.
It really has.
Very interesting. Very cool to watch. Round number 12 coming in. You can hear the chatter after the timeout. Boomich is going to drop down to a Tech 9 so that he can have utility. AK-47s across the board for everyone else on NaVi. A lot of emphasis on upper, a lot of emphasis on some upper pressure and attacking ramp. Still haven't seen a whole host of bodies outside in any way from NaVi. And this round looks much the same.
They've sent Electronic outside. Trying to see if he can put some pressure on while Boomich again flashed right through, this time with a Tech 9. And he's looking for it, and he will find Apex. He's only got 6 kills, I think, but there are entries, every single one of them, and it's absolutely making a difference right here. 4 versus 3, and right now, Vitality are in trouble, though. Bit, he's going to make that worse, getting the headshot, and this follow-up spray is pretty good for Saibu. He gets a double. Kyojin in a 1 versus 2, and they're low on health. He could win this.
Oh, well, actually, they're gonna give it up. They're bailing out. They have some kind of indication they know where Kyojin is, and they've gone to the upper bomb site, and they seem so confident about this with a minute remaining. Oh, they got some information that I didn't catch, but man, Kyojin just lost. This is so tough to get back into. For timing purposes, you really want to go up vent, but it's going to be so difficult.
Practically impossible, right? Gonna try right there. He can't shoot the gun on the ladder. The bullets just don't go where you want. So, unfortunate. Good round out of NaVi. And again, Boomich just 6 kills, but they are some of the most important kills in the map yet.
Yeah, and again, this is, I mentioned a couple rounds ago, NaVi throwing some fakes and feints into their game plan. This is another one. I mean, you've had some success hitting that upper bomb site, and they're kind of using that as like a leverage point to just continually pressure Vitality into feeling like that upper hit is coming again. This time it's just Boomich running the route into Mini, as we saw, and getting Apex, which is not a fight you expect as that Mini player. And dropping down vent to the lower side afterwards. Brutal stuff. Very cool game tactically from NaVi, I think.
Yeah, it really is putting pressure back on Vitality. They haven't had much room to breathe so far in the first half. I guess the fact that it's tied up 6-6 is actually, well, it's still pretty doable, right? We can have some pretty T-sided games on Nuke these days, so NaVi just need to be slowed down a bit more here, and Vitality can still stay competitive without a doubt. They also need to win this round, because otherwise they're going to lose money on the CT side, and that's where things get really ugly. Still no AWP, again, just because of the money, but it's still interesting. You've got Simple and you've got Saibu, and you're not seeing an AWP. Sneaking out. It's the kind of play that we sometimes see Blamef do. Walking past the smoke into the garage. Still a minute. A little bit more than that even. Electronic is downstairs. They've got a lot of map control.
Yeah, Apex is downstairs as well. So is Shock, so doubled up for Secret. Only one player there. Zaiwu's got to be careful. He's also the support to the upper bomb site. Shox is going to start working his way back up the vent. And Zaiwu, just seeing things, just getting a feel, just getting a lay of the land. And this is going to be a slow creeping hit from NaVi.
Maybe Shox is going to walk into this. He wants to go investigate Electronic on the other side. A little bit of a battle of patience, but that is not a lot to show. Just a shoulder, just an elbow. And Shox has fallen back off the corner. Look at the time. Ooh, NaVi, don't do this to yourselves. Not at this stage in the tournament. 27 seconds. Apex, he'll get one, but Electronic down below. And actually, the timing for Bit nearly works out for him to get the kill, but Kyojin standing guard, and he will take him down. 17 seconds now. They try and get onto the bomb site. Surely there's no way, but everyone is up. Yeah. No one's actually at the bottom bomb site. Vitality, there's only 8 seconds left. And the bomb, it is going to be planted for NaVi. It couldn't get any closer than that. Misuta now coming down from the secret stairs, and I don't even know how they got here, NaVi. It seemed like they planned the route perfectly. If they messed anything up along the way...
Oh, no.
What? No! That was just the recoil! He wasn't even aiming for the headshot, and he was jumping backwards. I'm not even sure I want to see the replay.
Oh, what an odd round, and that's so tough for Vitality. It's so quiet while NaVi controls so much of the map. They have no idea where the hit is coming from the whole time. That's a great first kill. I think Apex probably wishes he had just backed off and just survived with 15 seconds on the clock. Get somewhere, hide somewhere in the lower bomb site. They don't have the time to clear everything out. And Boomich just ending their dreams. Ooh.
That is so tough. He throws them back onto pistols. I still really can't believe he hit the headshot on the second spray.
No, that was weird. But whatever. Take it. Simple. Krieg is out. Krieg's having a good time. He's found the opening kill onto Zaiwu.
Eagles. I mean, Vitality already had a round where they won with the Deagles. I mean, they didn't actually, because then they lost the 2-on-5.
But up until that point, they had won it. Yeah, you're right.
You could only have so many rounds and a half, right? You give one away, you might not have another shot at it. So
yeah,
Boomich has managed to win. He's everywhere. I mean,
he's been very just assertive. He's just, I'm just gonna go into this spot. I'm gonna take it. Simple's been relatively not quiet, obviously, but he slowed down after a good start. He was what, 14-7 at one point. That was like 4 rounds ago. Good opening provided to the upper bomb site from Boomich with a double kill. 8-6, and NaVi have a chance to take a 3-round lead into the second half.
Really cool to see Boomich have this much of an impact.
Zawu had the money for an op this time, and he's chosen to go for the M4.
That's really interesting.
Well, it could just be, I don't know, could be just a plan he has for this particular game. And there's also, remember, the way that they're playing it, like, it's not like the op outside is going to do a whole lot. It's mostly just 1 or 2 players lurking. It's not like you're getting a lot of bodies heading that way. It can be hard to manage, especially when NaVi's just spent this whole half pulling you back and forth. Good kill from Zawu. Double dink with the M4.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there wouldn't have been a lot of sniper fights outside to begin with. He's going to be found by Boomich. Vector and Kyojin having a mental standoff here. Ooh, does he see? He does now. The spray is in, and it's pretty good. But it also takes so long that Bit eventually shows up and gets the trade. So, practically an even 3-on-3 here. Apex and Boomich both quite low on health.
All 3 members of NaVi just outside of the T lobby. Masuta's in ramp, Shocks on top of Hut, and Apex is outside looking towards Mini. This could be tough. He could get caught here. There's not really a whole lot of options. If they spot out Apex's position, although I can't imagine he's going to be jiggle peeking with this kind of HP. It'd be great if they made some kind of a footstep, any indication that he could pass over to his teammates.
Be careful. The gun barrel on that M4A1 is just a little bit longer than you sometimes think, so if they're paying attention, could maybe see it. But no, he's playing a good angle. He's going to get traded, and it takes Simple out of the equation, which has got to be great news. Bit is now on his own with 30 seconds. And again, this is where you want to see Vitality not make too many mistakes. I wonder if they would have heard him running back. Yeah, it seems like Shocks already knows. 20 seconds. Just don't go down. Shocks out in the open, and he's going to find Bit and take him down. First half finishes 8-7. The second half is coming right up.